Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam Talk Season 4, Episode 17. Tonight we have Miss Sabrina, also all the way from New Jersey tonight. And we know that you are the CEO and founder of Also Safe. But before we get started, Miss Sabrina, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. I am founder and CEO of Also Safe, Feel Safe Where You Live, Learn, Work, and Play. I am a TEDx speaker, children's book author, and a real estate agent on creating and maintaining respect in homes, workplaces, and schools. And I am a dancer. I should say that because that's my DNA. So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, so how did you start the Also Safe, Feel Safe Where You Live, Work, and Play? How did that come about?
I grew up with violence. My father beat my mother on a regular basis. My mother would beat me, so I know firsthand how traumatic it is to live in that type of environment. And I started dancing late. I didn't start when I was a toddler, 5 years old, 6 years old. I started when I was in my early 20s and I I was auditioning, taking 12 classes a week,
Hmm.
basically trying to catch up on time that was lost, that was stolen from me. When you live in that type of environment, your life is stolen. You can't do what you love to do. You kind of have to put it on the back burner until you make it happen. So luckily, I lived in close proximity to New York. I was taking a lot of dance classes, Broadway Dance Center, Steps, Alvin Ailey, and I started writing a one-woman show that I
Hmm.
wrote, choreographed, and performed. Uh, and it's called Home Sweet Home question mark. I play different women being abused. She goes to her good place. That's where the dancing comes in. But then she's pulled back into the terror of violence. The show ends really strong, really empowering. And I did a lot of research for the show, Rod. I couldn't believe the statistics that I was finding. So I said to myself, I need to make this into a business, a bona fide business with products and services that could really help people. So that's how Oh So Safe was born out of this one woman show.
Okay, so you use the outlet. Well, for those who just tuned in, that you're from New Jersey, and you use the outlet of dance, that you would go to the city, as you guys from Norfolk say, you would go to the city to get away from the violence that you were going through.
Right. Yeah, I used it as a tool and it was a huge release. And it's really what I should have been doing from when I was born, or as soon as I could walk, so to speak. But I couldn't even mention dance in my house. I couldn't say it. I couldn't, nothing, nothing, nothing. So I had to wait until I moved out where I was free to be myself, to dance. Um, and also I was a heavy duty clubber. I loved the clubs, the whole club scene. I
Hmm.
went to all of them. I felt so free on those dance floors, and the DJs oh, I loved it all.
I'm not going to pull up no old YouTube clips of Soul Train and see you on there, am I?
No, 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 not Soul Train, but maybe Limelight. Limelight. Yeah, Limelight, Palladium, Webster Hall, Club USA, Twilo, Tunnel. Limelight was my
The, you,
favorite, though.
you
It
were
was
in
my
the
favorite.
tunnel in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes.
Okay.
As a heavy duty clubber, yeah, yeah. Oh, it was so great. It was so great. Yeah, it was a great time that I don't think will ever be reproduced. Uh, I don't think so. I mean, they have raves and the DJs, and there's great DJs out there. Carl Cox, Nicole Madaber, Charlotte DeWitt, and they're awesome. But in New York, that time it's gone, and I'm so grateful that I was a part of it, that I was there. I
All
was
right.
there, full on.
Yeah, the
You know,
90s, the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s cannot be replicated or duplicated. That you had to be there. That was a time. You
that's
know,
right. That's right.
things are totally different. But that's another story. But you had a TED Talk presentation that says if you're a victim of home violence, don't leave, stay. Why do you say to stay?
Yes, excellent question. We feel at Also Safe that if you're abusive, and this is male or female, okay, so women can be abusive. So we're very inclusive and we're very realistic at Also Safe, where the victim could be male or female, and it's horrible either way. So we said at Also Safe, why should you leave if you're the victim? It's the abuser that has to go, not you, the
Hmm.
victim. And if you have children, even worse, you stay right where you are. Plant that butt right where you are. Stay in your apartment, your house, wherever it is. And it's the abuser that has to go. And we have our core product is the OSO Safe certification for properties, where a homeowner will purchase the Also Safe Home Sweet Home package, and it consists of a policy, a seminar, an app, and therapists assigned to the property. And I could go into a brief description of each of those, but all of those components working together makes for a safe property, a property where there's respect. And you're not going anywhere. It's the abuser that has to go and not come back. Um, so so we're saying at Also Safe, the norm should be that the abuser not be anywhere in the vicinity. Because if you're practicing safety, positivity, empowerment, encouragement, freedom of choice, respect, well, why should you go? It's the abuser that has to go, not you, the victim. The children are always victims. So I hope I answered the question. Sometimes I go off on a tangent, but that's the mentality behind that statement.
No, it's fine. I mean, if you go off, the deep end, it's fine. Because here at Amsterdam Talk, we have authentic stories by authentic people. So you never know what somebody's out there going through, and this may actually help them. But you use the word abuser. So in a culture, how can we shift the culture away from blaming the victim instead of blaming the perpetrator?
Yes, excellent question. Yes. Well, for one thing, yeah, we live in a society where there's victim blaming, a lot of victim blaming, even on the male side, like, man up. What do you mean she beat you up? What are you talking about?
Right.
You're 6 feet and she's 5'5". What do you mean she beat you up? You're not a man. You're weak. So we have to really, it's a practice, Rod. It's a practice, and it's not so easy to stand up to your perpetrator. It's not easy at all. So I want to say, even like to women and girls and even men, I would say, uh let's stop calling women and girls bitches, sluts, whores, tramps, sleazes, floozies, bimbos, thots, skanks, and all the other lovely titles that are given to us.
Right.
Um, we should be able to be free to wear what we want, to live our lives. Men, boys can be fashion designers, and girls, women can be football players or engineers or doctors. Or so let's stop with the labels and with judgments and it's a practice. So you asked me, how do we stop it? Well, just by, don't call anyone in your workplace. Oh, look at her. She's wearing a short skirt. Oh, look at him. He's wearing tight pants. They're asking for it. That right there is a victim blaming scenario. So let's stop. Let's just change the dialogue and say, so did you watch that game? Did you have a good date? How did the date go? Uh what let's not judge one another, and let's just try to lead the conversation in non into respect versus disrespect. I hope I answered the question.
You did, but also when you speak of this, feel safe where you live, work, and play, most people just think when they think of like domestic violence, they think of just physical, and everything you just said about wearing certain things, it could also become mental as far as like body shaming, because such and such wears something this small, and and somebody say, oh, she's too big or he's too big to be wearing things and that nature. I mean, as far as that, the mental aspect, you're taking mental abuse as well. So as the same question we just asked, how could you stop being a victim and blaming that and go to the mental abuser as that?
Yes, yes, excellent point. We say verbal, physical, sexual abuse for the most part at Also Safe. And with physical abuse, there's verbal abuse. It's kind of by default. No one is going to punch you or put their hands on you and say to you, I love you, you're great, you're fantastic, you're wonderful. No, they're saying a lot of bad things. You're a piece of garbage, you're nothing, you're lost without me, you are dirt, the whole rigmarole. So yes, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and yeah, the person doesn't even have to touch you. But if you're verbally disparaging someone and saying to them, you're nothing without me. You can't do anything without me. Look at you. You can't even speak English. Just to give an example, you're disabled. You can't even walk out there. You need a wheelchair. You have this disease and you're sick and you need me to give you your medicine. So all of that is breaking you down. All
Hmm.
of that is designed, that verbal, mental, emotional abuse to break you down. Um, I want to say that we are big proponents of therapy at Also Safe.
Hmm.
So a way to not let that in, if you can get to a therapist in any way, shape, or form, and I say a good therapist, not necessarily spend a lot of money. And thank goodness for COVID in a way, because thanks to COVID, it put mental health on the forefront for the world, where mental
Hmm.
health is an important component of being healthy. So hire a therapist, whether it be one on one, a group, extra coaching by text, email, face to face, or by video. And I think a good therapist will open your eyes and say, look, what you're just describing are red flags. You're headed for a bad relationship. If he's putting you down, if she's putting you down, and they're starting to control your money, and you just met them, or you're going out with someone for a couple of months, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you're coming up on a year, and they're controlling your money, they're controlling how you dress, they're controlling who you associate with, they're isolating you little by little. Well, these are all red flags, and these red flags, a therapist will say to you, you have to
Hmm.
break it off immediately, because you deserve to be in a good relationship, and there are good men out there, there are good women out there, and you deserve that. So it's a practice. We like to say at Also Safe, it's especially if you come from abuse, Rod, it's
Hmm.
almost it's easy to fall into that trap because you've been brainwashed. So we do a lot of education at Also Safe. So the education is to make you aware, and to make you aware of the warning signs, and to give examples of what constitutes a good relationship. You should feel safe. You should feel respected. You should feel free in your relationship, not tied in any way, not um, not to have to change yourself. No. So I hope I answered the question.
You did, but I'm glad you said that because a lot of people don't understand a key term that you used in that and your state and your answer, financial abuse. A lot of people don't understand that. It's I don't want to label anybody, but you may get men, you may get women, and you may get a person that makes a whole lot of money than you and is where as though technically they really can't afford to live without you, but you're making all the decisions, you're making all the detail, everything about it. You can't do this, you can't do that because you're holding them hostage because they don't have enough money, or they possibly you may get with them and tell them not to work, and that becomes another part of financial abuse because you limit them on certain things that they can do. Like a la you said in the beginning, you like to go dancing, so you met a man who told you stop working, and all of a sudden you want to go dance, but you don't have the funds to go dancing no more. So basically, he's limiting you from doing what you love to do. A lot of people don't understand that.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Whoever's making the money, it doesn't matter. There should be no abuse, no violence, no chaos, no dysfunction. There, just because one partner is making more money than the other partner, there should be no abuse, no verbal, physical, sexual abuse, no mental abuse,
Hmm.
financial abuse. And yeah, you should be able to uh and I'm not saying you empty out that person's bank account, no, because that's abuse also, so it kind of, it's like a catch 22. It works both ways, it cuts both ways. There should be no control, domination, manipulation in any way, shape, or form. So um it's, you should be free to live your life with that person, with your partner. um and maybe, you could have a discussion with your partner, like, look, why don't we set a limit for both of us? We could spend XYZ amount of money every month
Hmm.
without breaking the bank, and you could spend 500, I could spend 500, you could spend 1,000, I could spend 1,000, or 250 each, or whatever it is. But make that a topic of discussion, so that way it's out in the open. And we know that these things are kind of difficult to talk about, but they're necessary. And if you do it in a way that's respectful, if you have to write things down, if you have to open the conversation in this manner, look, I have to talk to you about something, but this is hard for me, but I'm going to do my best. You're kind of setting the stage, and it kind of breaks the ice, like, okay, I appreciate you coming up to me and saying this to me, so that way you kind of lay the groundwork for, okay, this is a sensitive subject for me, and that way you can talk about it, and and you could correct along the way. It doesn't have to be a perfect conversation the first time, the second time, the third time. You just kind of lay it down and then say, all right, let's see where we're at in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Does that work for us? You spending 250 and I spend 250. Maybe we have to change that. Maybe it's better that, I have child support to pay, or I don't know, something out of the ordinary. I need to spend 500 out of our budget. And let that be okay. So you work it out. You have to do what's best for each other and not compare other couples or other partnerships. You have to do what's best for you. And I want to say, when I say financial abuse, you're dating, let's say you're dating, and the person always pays for you, and they love bomb you.
Hmm.
I love you, I love you, I love you, and they pay for everything. But then they start making you feel guilty about it. Like, oh, well, you know, uh I bought you those clothes and I paid for those dinners, and this is how you treat me. Uh that's a red flag. So they're guilting you, they're roping you in, They're making you feel like you owe them. So you pay and see
Hmm.
what happens. Like you pay. Look, you got lunch last week or you got dinner a couple of nights ago. Let me pay. And if they start rebelling, that's a red flag. It means that they still want to control you. They still want to dominate, and they're guilting you. That's not a healthy relationship. These are all warning signs, and it's up to you to break it off. Um, I also want to mention something else, but I want you to, you know, uh, um, I want to hear your thoughts on what I just said about financial abuse.
Um, well, my thoughts of it, I guess it kind of sways. I mean, but you have to have boundaries on it to say what goes on. I mean, from prior to mankind, probably before me and you were even born, there was always the men were the hunters and, females cooked. I mean, the women cooked everything. So, going along gradually before, equality really happened, it was men made money, they controlled the house, they controlled the housing situation, and kind of, I guess, grandma and great grandma had to deal with that financial abuse because they really didn't have any money to go anywhere. So they had to stay in these situations where granddad might have had a baby by the woman down the street and was dealing with the woman across the street, but you knew you really had nowhere to go. Your hands were tied. So the movement and equality happened where women started to making equal pay or making more just as men. They had the opportunity to have that voice and be able to move around, put their foot down and do things different. So that was just the evolution of that. But what I wanted to say, that becomes the evolution of it. Now the roles have reversed, down in 2024. It's women, taking care of everything and men not working. And men happen to, deal with the financial abuse of certain things. So I think the roles kind of reverse, in 2024. But again, as you
Well,
said earlier, go ahead, I'm listening.
if I may, I took and I take courses to keep myself apprised or uh, yeah, apprised on information regarding home violence. We prefer to say home violence because it's more inclusive, because
Hmm.
domestic violence has such a stigma that it is a woman's problem, and clearly it is not. And
Hmm.
secondly, it assumes that all of the victims are female, and that's not true either. So
Right.
we prefer to say home violence. Until I took this course, I thought, yeah, there was always that the men ruled over the women, but that's actually not true. The beginning of humankind, actually, the men respected women always because the women gave birth.
Right.
They were able to give birth. And it wasn't until commercialism entered the equation
Hmm.
that women were subjected to being overruled. But up until that point, it was actually, and it wasn't even about women ruling over men or men ruling over women. It's that men did not rule over women ever because it was apparent, it was very evident historically, uh till now, women gave birth, so men revered that, they
Hmm.
respected that. But then commercialism entered the equation where women were commercialized
Hmm.
and ruled over. So I want to say that it was never acceptable, not yesterday, not today, and not tomorrow, that anyone rule over anyone. It needs to be a partnership, and this has to be a practice. There has to be education. So the fact that roles are reversed, I mean, I think in every time period, there was always some women made more money than men, or that men made more money than women. But men should never rule over women just because they make more money. That was never okay. That was never okay. So If the man is making $100,000 a year and the woman is making 50, well, he has no right to tell her, well, I'm the one who pays the bills and you're home, or even though you're making 50,000, but you're taking care of the kids, and so I have to rule over you. That's messed up. That should never be. And that the woman has to take care of the kids. Who said that that's not work? That's 24/7. We have fathers that are at home with the kids, and the woman, the mother, is out working, making 100, 200, 300, 400, 500,000. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And he's working 24/7 taking
Right.
care of the kids rather than putting them in daycare. So we really have to really correct it in our minds that, yeah, there should be no domination, no manipulation, no control, whoever's making the money. So it was never acceptable, not yesterday, not today, and not tomorrow. So I hope I answered the question. And there was something else that I wanted to say.
Well, I wanted to
um
say this, but doing before
sure,
you came
sure.
on and actually doing this show and doing my research, a lot of people think, just what we talking about, violence itself, it's heterosexual. No, the same sex is actually kind of leading this thing now.
Where you mean with the domination in money
Not
and
No, not the domination, just the home violence. Like, the same sex are kind of there more calls being made about same sex than heterosexual now.
I believe it. I believe it. It's still wrong, Rod. It's
Yeah, it's
still
wrong.
wrong. It's there. As we say at Oh So Safe, abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter the gender or the sexual orientation that the abusive hand occupies.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. You could be male, female, female, male. You could be gay, straight, bisexual. It doesn't matter. Abuse should not happen. It is inexcusable, unacceptable. And with our products and services, we will see to it that every home becomes also safe certified. So that way, the chances of violence happening are greatly diminished and even prevented. Because we're not barbarians, savages, beasts. We're human beings, and we need to act that way, meaning there has to be respect. You don't put your hands on me, and I don't put your hands on you. And if that happens, you're out. You're out. You're out of the property, and you're not coming back. And you don't have access to the kids either. So, and this is what we are introducing into the real estate industry to get people's properties also safe certified. So that way the policy is signed, everybody's educated, the app detects violent like movements and captures them in real time, issuing alerts. And then there are therapists assigned to the property. So all of these components working together makes for preventative, uh, preventing violence, diminishing it and preventing it. Um, and we make respect a required standard in all properties, whether you live in a townhouse, a co-op, a condo, a single family home, a multi-family dwelling, a two-family home, a villa, a mansion, a mobile home, it's not going to matter. And no matter what your sexual orientation is, you're married, you're same sex, abuse should not be a part of anyone's existence. Period. Over and out.
So you just said, what also safe wants to do. You do this, you must leave the property. What happens when that person keeps going back and going back and going back and going back? And I guess I'll say one more time, going back, and they're not holding their offenders accountable. They just keep going back and like they think this shit is just normal when it's not.
Right. You mean the victim? The
Yeah, the
victim
victim
goes
just keep
back.
going back. They
The
just keep
victim
going
go
back and
back.
going back and going
Well,
back.
right. Well, in a no so safe certified property, that won't happen because the abuser is out.
Hmm.
It's all signed. The policy clearly states it. So they're not coming back. And as a condition of the victim staying in the property, well, you're not allowed to stay here if you allow him or her, the abuser, to come back, because I have to protect the rest of the multifamily or even a single family house. I have to protect everybody else. Um, there's kids in the building. I have to protect them. They're not coming back. And if you allow them to come back, well, you can't stay here either. So we were trying to cover all of our bases. It's flipping the script in residency in your home, so to speak. That's one of the conditions of living in an also safe certified property. Um, so I hope I answered the question. And also you're educated. We open your eyes to say, holy shit, I've been selling myself short. Um, I deserve to be in a good relationship. He or she has been beating me, spitting on me. Uh, he or she beats the kids, calling me a slut, a whore. You're educated now, and we want nothing less for you. You are treated with respect. He or she is not going to treat you like garbage. It's one of the conditions living in a no so safe certified property. So we're flipping the script in real estate, in the real estate industry, if you will, with this certification.
Okay, we got a couple minutes left, but let's get into the book. So you published a children's book. I see it right behind you, called "Home Safe Home for You and Me." How did that come about?
Yes, I it's something that I wanted to do for quite some time, and it's a staple in also safe certified properties. We use it as a tool to empower kids, of all ages, that they have voice and choice in an also safe certified property. So if, let's say, both mom and dad are abusive,
Hmm.
we're saying to the kids, uh, you don't have to live with them. If you have an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a close family friend that you want to live with, that you're safe with, well, the book explains. We are introducing the Oh So Safe Kids cheer, and it goes like this: I want to live where I am oh so safe, and I am oh so safe with, and they get to fill in the blank. And we explain in the book the difference between respect and disrespect, abuse and non-abuse. And I have here, um, know that for the moment, which means right now, you are safe. So
Hmm.
we are introducing this concept that, um, you're safe right now, kids. Uh, whether you don't think about the past, don't think about the future. At this very moment, you are safe. And all also safe kids are, oh, I'm sorry, all kids are also safe kids, whether they're safe at home or not safe at home. So, so the book is a tool to empower children, like I said, of all ages, to give them voice and choice, and that they have a choice, that if they're not safe at home, well, we will get you to safety with that aunt, uncle, grandparent, close family friend. And if they have nobody, we're working as fast as we can to get them to safety, just the same.
Oh, okay. That I love that. That motto, that saying that you had. So we're gonna move on, but I don't know if you actually listened to the show before you came on. This is a segment that we call "I Be Damned," where people send us crazy dating stories. Nobody gets hurt, nobody dies, anything like that. It's funny. It's kind of funny. People send us these dates, and we got this today. I linked with Faraj for a year. It was nice. I didn't want anything serious because my kid's father, my ex, was up for parole and likely coming home. Farad didn't know. didn't know about him. But part of me wanted better than my ex. Plus, my kids really like Farad. Anyway, I cut Farad off. No explanation given. My ex returned to me. The kids love their dad. I miss Farad and made him my sneaky link. It's been a year and I ended my pregnancy because I didn't know who the child was. About a month ago, I put my ex out and told Farad that I wanted him back in my life full time. I text Farad, I miss you. My kids miss you. Let's be a power couple. Farad said, "What's your power though? Cheating? Nah, I'm good. Take care." And that's the last I heard of him. Why did he switch up on me? I cheated with him. How do I get him to see my worth and power? So that's what happened.
What? I'm a little confused. Farad is the father of the kids or somebody that she was dating?
She was somebody she was dating while the kid's father was incarcerated.
Okay, okay. So she's asking, I'm not sure what she's asking.
She's asking how did she get Farad back because when the children's father came home, from being incarcerated, she started dating back the father, but she missed Farad, and all of a sudden she kicked the kid's fathers out the house, and she want Farad back. And Farad said, your best power is cheating, and Farad doesn't want to deal with it. So she want to know how can she get Farad back.
Well, uh, well, and he's good with the kids. I mean,
Yes,
it
Farad is
sounds
good
like
with the
he's good
kids.
with the kids, and the kids like him
Hmm.
and and okay. So, well, I would suggest therapy. I mean, if she's cheating, if she cheated on him and he was a good guy, it sounds like she comes from abuse, maybe, or maybe somebody in her family cheated and she's sabotaged a good thing. And and maybe she feels that I don't deserve to be in a good relationship, somebody that doesn't cheat on me, so I'll do it. And it's kind of like she has to reprogram herself to for good to come in her life, to have good stay in her life, remain in her life. I would suggest therapy in some
Hmm.
capacity, so that way she has a third person to bounce this off of, and that could guide her. And and she's got to do good by the kids. If the kids like Farad, that should be a good enough reason for her to I mean, she's got to be honest with Farad and like own up to the fact that she cheated on him and say to him, "Look, I'm going to make my best effort not to cheat on you, and I started therapy, and maybe start therapy and then talk to him. That way, it's proof, like that way he sees the effort, the effort that she's making, and trust, or maybe both of them could go to therapy actually together. Uh, did I answer the question? Did I provide decent advice?
Yes, you did.
Um,
You did.
and it sounds like she's sabotaging a good thing because she doesn't feel that she deserves it. Does it say on there that she comes from a bad, uh, she
No,
comes from abuse at all?
no,
Okay,
no.
no,
It
no.
just gives, it
Okay,
doesn't give us any background. Just tell us what's going on
okay,
between
okay,
her, Farad, and
okay.
him.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, yeah, I mean, trust is a big issue, and trust has to be practiced, so it's on her. It's on her. She's gotta prove to Farad that she changed, and that's on her.
Right, definitely. But thank you for coming and sitting down with us and talking about also safe. Feel safe where you work, live, and play. Thank you for coming, Sabrina, and explaining to us everything about how also safe is putting houses in New Jersey. To sign these contracts where victims will be safe from the abuser once they sign these contract things of that nature will keep them safe. Um, if I put all your handles up, so if anybody's looking for Sabrina, here we go. ososafe.com, facebook.com/sabrina.oso.1, linkedin.com, Twitter, Instagram, everything is sabrina.ososafe.com. So thank you for coming, and
Thank
anything
you.
No, just thank you for coming. And next week, same time, 7 o'clock next week on the 24th, we have a mother of 6 children, single mother of 6 children, coming in and talk about crisis that happened. She coined the phrase Mom's Day moments, and she got strategies to overcome those Mom's Day moments dealing with your children so she doesn't go insane. So next week, I'll see you at 7 o'clock, same channel, same time, same place. Thank you coming, Sabrina. If you need anything else to know about Sabrina, please check out alsosafe.com and Amazon. The book can be purchased on Amazon as well. So thank you for coming, Sabrina.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'll see you guys next week in the stream.